So my top tip that I would give to somebody in my particular position is to play an active role in the support that's going to be set up. Because once you've set it up to how you feel or know that the person who you care for requires it, it's easy then to back away. Because there's nothing worse that you're still stressed a year on by what's happening because, well, I wouldn't have done it this way, I wouldn't have done it that way. And yes, you may sound like the most miserable person on planet Earth, because I was the most miserable person. I think purposely people wouldn't pick up the phone. I had one time with the Housing Association, and because I deal with all of Anne's bills and whatever else and help her to pay that, because that's one of the things that I'm going to be letting go, to say, right, Anne, it's now you to pay some of your bills. Most of them are by direct debit. But I remember ringing the Housing Association and saying that I needed some window locks for the window, and because there weren't any on there. And the lady said, well, we don't do window locks. And I said, well, for my sister you're going to be doing window locks. And she said, well, no, we don't. So I said, well, yes, you are, for my sister you are. And she said, I need to speak to your sister. I'm not prepared to speak to you. I said, yeah, you can. She's not going to say a word to you. You're going to have to come back to me, and you're going to give me window locks. And I said, if you can't do it, put me onto a manager who can give me the window locks, because I'm not putting this phone down until I get my window locks for my sister. Her safety comes first. If anything happens to her, tell me your name, and you're going to be the person that I'm going to bring into court. And she said, okay, I'll put you onto somebody else. About 2 days later, they had window locks on Anne's windows. She's on a ground floor flat. I don't know who can come in and who can go out. I need to make sure her safety is paramount. Now, I could have said, oh yeah, all right then, to this lady on the phone who's quite insistent I was going to have this window lock. But I needed to make sure. So a year later, I'm not worried about Anne's safety, because you know what? Her window locks are already there in place, and I know that she's safe within her own home. Again, it was little spy hole on her door. Oh, we don't do spy holes on your door. I said, well, it's funny because the police told me that would be an added safety bonus. Well, the next day they put the spy hole on the door for her. So I think you've got to just make sure that you're there, because you can always back away later on. But make sure you're in there to make sure you've got what you want. Because I think it's always harder to ask for things later, because, well, you were satisfied with that 6 months ago, so why now it's all a big issue for you down the line. So don't care how miserable you sound, don't care how people want to perceive you, whether they think you're the most horrible person on planet Earth. Do what is best for the person you're caring for, and you put yourself, you're now thinking for that person, okay? So you now have to think, what would they need, what do they need? And then you can always back off later, like how I've backed off. I think it's easier for people to always say, well, I don't know, they know better. I think that's my mum, because she had this thing where, oh, you know, the doctor knows better, all this knows better. No, they don't.